Yeah, I've got all the bolts out that hold the top of this engine on top of the camshaft. The whole system of all the bolts out. Now, I've seen another video where the guy said something about he needed a 10mm short one for the end, and I managed to get it all out with one size, which was, you can see that my phone's dying. Anyway, I'm gonna just get this out and place it so I can get those it's late at night, so yeah, those lifters. So I'm gonna get that out, place it so I can get to those. Here she is. Now these lifters are stuck, so they've got a small edge on them. If you look here on the good old XG, I don't know if you can see that. Down the bottom there's that little edge, so perfect for cutters. Should be able to get that right down the bottom. Oops. I'll see if I'll get one on the other end, because it's forcing my hand and forcing it down. So if you get down there, see if we can get a bit more angle. So right underneath, and just, whoa, that broke a little bit, but it'll hold on. It's coming. There we go. That's how you get them out. They got like that little lip underneath. So I'm replacing them all. But what I'm going to do, because they get oil down there, I'm going to air blow them out. Make sure there's no gunk in there. So I'm going to take, there's another one. These are stuck. Really stuck. So that's coming out, that's coming out, that's coming out, that's coming out, that one and that one. That's all I've got left in there. Then the cleaning process will begin, which I'm going to need, because I'm going to air blow it out with a compressor and need some protective glasses on. So that's her. Let's get these bad lifters out. If the lifter, like you saw how I got the other one out, if you want to save them, yeah, it's not the best of methods, but some of these were hard to get out, so you can see inside there was a bit of, looks like there is a bit of gunk in there that needs a good clean out, because obviously if they come through the nipples, small nipples, it's going to block them up a bit. Anyway, time to start cleaning. Okay, got the air blower and I'm going to blow these out. Yeah, you get the drift. I'm going to have to put something under them. So, you got to look out for if you ever do an air blow like that, is these things sit on the very bottom. That 3 sort of line thing sits down. So it sits down. When you look in the rollers, they block that big hole. See the hole? They're all nice and clean now. Very nice. You can see that. They're all very shiny, cleaned up metal. But yeah, they got these down the bottom, so I give everything a clean underneath. Doesn't look like they got any sort of rubber washer or sealer in it. They just sit in there, so gotta carefully put those back on. This is one of my new lifters. I'll show you the packet in a second. But when I was doing to clean out with this. This is the stuff that's around the very edges that could possibly lock stuff. Just really thick, black, thick oil. So, yeah, nice and clean. Actually, don't know if you've heard of Mace Engineering. I went into Repco, Autobarn, all that sort of stuff. They were like, there was one that was selling like $40, which had to adjust the price. That was for just one. Went into Autobarn. They were like $26 each, so they would amount to over 200 bucks, probably almost 300. These 12, so the full set that you need. I'll put a link in the description. They got 100% feedback on eBay. 100 bucks for all 12. How good is that? Okay, so all the lash lifters are sitting in with some nice oil. So hopefully, once this gets started again, there won't be any noises. So they practically lift one out, go down like that. Oh, don't move that. Is that just oily? No, it's oily. It's alright. Let's bring this down again. There we go. Whoops. There we go. It just sits in there. Nice. Good having brand new ones in there too. Alright. Now, back later on in the night, because what was happening is having oil around these things wasn't very good. Mainly for they slipped out very easy, and I don't want to turn it upside down and have them all fall out. Now, inside the engine block, look at those big deep crevices if they were to fall down into. So I got some information that you can put multi-purpose grease around. This is only like 15-16 bucks from Bunnings, and you can put that around just the edges of them, and that will help hold them in. And with your first engine oil change, all that stuff will, because the engine heats up, will all just go back into the oil and go out your sump and stuff like that when you do your oil change. So that's what I'm going to use. But now I've got to get all the oil off each lifter and get the oil, just dry it up a little bit inside where they're sitting. Let's take this one out again. Put the nice new lifter there and just take the shiny oil off there. Just remember those things inside there. This one turned as I pulled that off, so I'm going to make sure they're all sitting the right way before I put those lifters in as well. So what I'm going to do is get them all clean again and then put some of that grease around them. I'll show you when I'm getting to the grease stage. Okay, so I'm just going to show one, the old one hand. I just want to just get off on the main belly. Let's go a bit closer, just around that edge. Don't want to go up the top so much, not that it's really matter, but just around the main body of a bit of lube around it. This multi-purpose grease, and then we'll stick them in that hole there, and that should help hold them in there well. The whole kit and caboodle is turned upside down, and hopefully none of them slip out. Anyway, I'll do the rest. Okay, things happen. Now I had 2 or 3 still come out. I found the 2, but one big issue that came out of this was one of these fell out, and also those bottom little plates that sit down the bottom, and it's disappeared. Now the other issue is when they fall out, what a pain in the neck, and that stops everything until I get another one, because they have to be in there. The other problem is they can go down any of these channels, like I said before, all these channels. And a piece like that is so small, and you can't just go up to Bunnings and grab one. They're a specified, particular made item. So whether or not I have to source another whole one of these and just have them in case they do fall out again, so I got replacements. But one single one has stopped my whole assembly going on. Pain, you know what. So what I'm going to just do tonight is, this is called a cam assembly lube. What I'm going to do is just cover the cam, just the top parts of the cam, with some of this fluid, just to give it some more lube on the actual cam when she starts up again. So I'll show you what that looks like once I've done it, but here is a cam, and I'll be back. Okay, so I squeezed a bit of that stuff on. So I'm just putting a little bit around where the cam is. And supposedly this helps the cam as far as lubrication goes when she's running. Doesn't hurt when there's so many metal components to an engine, and they do such a good job going through all the different weathers that we put them through with cold and summer. And yeah, good to just look after the machines that look after us. They don't always look after us, but they do a good job. And they're not always looked after, so can't blame them for breaking down sometimes. And they get that sort of like nice grey film on there. It doesn't take long. Cam lube assembly or whatever it's called. Yeah, pain in the neck that happened. These are sort of things that do take time, or take time off you when you're building or fixing something. Little things like that, just one little sort of spacer looking thing, and it stopped me putting this whole thing together tonight. But I've got some other things like this to do, so again, I really appreciate the people who have subscribed to my channel and commented on my channel. You know, we're just backyarders and trying to do a good job when we can. And when you do get subscribers, even if it's just one, you know, for someone to take interest in your channel that's really, really good. It's nice. I really appreciate it. And anyone that does show interest and puts a thumbs up and comments or asks questions or thanks for the information and stuff like that, you know, just trying to make a few videos that might help someone out. And they're like a personal diary in the way of just looking back on going, oh yeah, I got that done and added that to my knowledge or something like that. And sometimes you get comments that even help you out. So YouTube is a very good foundation for, how could you call it, a wealth of information. There's a lot of bad information out there as well. I try not to put pretty much crap on there. I tried my best. Like I did with the Viv car, if I see crap, I'll call it out. I think the Viv and the whole purpose of that is just to make money. I mean, there's a lot of things that are out there that make money, of course, but I personally think that the Viv part of getting a car on the road is a major scam. I mean, they were picking on, not just saying personally from the Faulkner one that I went to, I'm sure they all do that sort of thing, they're told to do that, but small little dents in a chassis and that doesn't do anything to the car. Again, I would respect it more if when you take your car for a Viv inspection, the thing that it gets knocked back for is the thing that should be looked at, and that's it. So if it's a major structural thing where it's been squashed up the rear, I understand that the structure has to be checked, and mathematics as far as applied to, you know, body specs and stuff like that have to be matched. But in my case with the XR6 that I did, it was deemed a repairable write-off due to just a hole in the engine sump and a slight ding in the transmission, and that's all it should have been checked for. So they're literally saying don't touch any write-offs, whether it's repairable write-offs or statutory write-offs. But if you do, you're going to get scanned for money. You're not going to do well on this car if you think you're going to get out of it cheaply. And that's the scam part of it. It's picking on stuff that's unreasonable and then trying to get people to fix things that are really ridiculous to have to fix. So again, on my channel, I like to try to bring out the best in information that I can provide, and in the way it affects me as well and my experiences. So hopefully it helps in some way. So now, unfortunately, I've got to put this on pause because just that small little, whatever that is, I don't even know what that's called. So I may have to get an entire assembly, or I might go to Autobarn and see if they've got what they call a fish on it, like a small, like a really, they're more detailed graphics of parts and stuff like that, and then they've normally got like names for each part that goes into a certain section. So yeah, I was so looking forward to putting this together tonight. And that's the thing, again, when you're got movable parts and then you flip them upside down, there is a risk of that sliding out, especially on these lash lifters. So yeah, well, time to call it a night, and we'll be back on the Divi van build. Okay, so it's the next day. Went to the wreckers, got a few of them, just in case they drop out. Now, with these lash lifters, there's a side that's sort of like almost like a flat end screwdriver side, and then there's the group of 3. Now, from this side on where they sit, this 3, if they fall out, because I got it wrong yesterday, when I took one of these off at the wreckers and got these out, they were actually facing this way. So when I air blowed them yesterday, they might have just spun around and was sitting like that, and so I automatically thought that that's the way they went. So they literally go down that way. So that part, that flat nose screwdriver part, sits on this side, and this part sits upways just in case they fall out, because even with when I got these, they started to fall out once I turned it upside down at the wreckers. So that's the way they sit down. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've got to take all these out because they're pretty much all wrong, the ones that sat in there, and I've got to put these ones in, or at least the one that's missing. So I'll be back soon. Okay, got all those installed once again. Now I'll put on this side as well some of that cam, hey, don't fall, cam assembly lube. I'll just do a little bit on each part. It should really, by rights, be a lot smoother running, even with little things like this done. It can't hurt, can it, with a bit more lubrication on it. It's going to run, hopefully, a lot better. I'm just a bit worried about turning this over again. I've done all the re-oiling of the lashes, or the lifters, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, those things, they can make it go ding ding ding. And it's time to try and assemble again. Oh boy. Let's try to stick that on. Here we go. Okay, so here we are. All on, and was a success this time. Now it's pivotal of where are those things I showed you before. In these things, they can fall out, they can come off with the lifter, but that's the way it goes down, and the lifter's on top of that. Just remember, it's like a little, I don't know, is that like a hazardous sign, like for the nuclear, something like that? If that gives you a better reminder, that has to go down, and that little, like the flat part, will be facing that hole. Now, when I had done them all with the flat side up in the beginning, there was a lot of air pressure in between this part of the rocker. What a pain in the neck. I thought, what's going on? And then I'd poke it with the nail and try to release some air, but it's pivotal that they go in the right way. It really makes a big difference. Even the way the lifters sit in there was better. Now, the grease is a pivotal point. Putting grease in there, and a good amount, really helped hold them in a lot more. Now, when you take off this cam assembly, let me just put a Pepsi there. When you take this off, obviously things like to fall off. Be very mindful that when these lifters can fall out because you're lifting it upwards, those little, I don't even know what to call them, but I'll call it a spacer for now, that's on the bottom, that one I just showed you, they can fall out with it and fall to unknown destination. There's also in these engines, like I might have just shown you on one of the previous videos, you got the water jackets, they can fall in there. So when you're taking this off, watch your lifters. And because like some do get stuck in there from just probably wear and tear and getting hot, but some say freedom at last and jump out. So that grease definitely helped a lot with holding them in. I put a good amount, not so I flooded them, but a good amount. Now the other thing is, from this side of the assembly, see this little circular sort of clip. There's a clip on both sides. Where are they? There's another clip there. Just that little round thing there, half round thing. There's one, I think they're on both sides. Yeah, here. There's another one. They can start to slide off, and then these things spin around. And if you don't know or didn't see where it came from, sometimes it can be a bit hard to know which position they go in. And they also, when that starts to slide, these can become interlocked with each other and not move. So before you put the cam, this whole trail that goes on top of the cam trail, whatever you want, what are they called again? It's getting late at night. Anyway, the whole trail assembly, that's what I'll call it, trail assembly. Before that goes on, make sure these are all, they can pivot up, all of them, because the pivoting is pivotal to putting it in. Because if these lock down and stay in one position, and you get them all the way, because I got this even underneath the accelerator cable, don't know how I did it, but did it. Yeah, these arms need to be just adjacent so they easily sit on top of the springs. But a very successful job so far. So they're sitting. Now I've watched a few videos saying about priming the lifters before you put them in. And then I've also seen threads that also says you don't need to. There's a lot of up and down talk about it. Now what I find is if you clean them out properly, you shouldn't need to prime, because the oil, if it shoots up enough, it's going to go into them and shoot out enough. I'm going with you don't have to prime them, but if you don't clean where they sit in, you don't blow them out, you don't clean them, you don't put any sort of cleaning mix in there and make sure there's no old junk in there, you may get problems with those lifters getting filled with oil. So there was a thread that said also you don't need to, just make sure there's no gunk and junk going where they sit. So I'm going to go with that. The last part, what I'm going to do before I put the cover on, is I'm going to dose it, the top, all this part here, with some oil. Just your normal engine oil that goes in your sump. So just to give it a bit of a heads up and a start up. Also that cam starter, what is it called again? Just this stuff. Cam assembly lube. That's going to help lubricate it until these definitely get more oil going through them. So you want to definitely get that going in your engine. So yeah, I'm going to just put a squidge of oil right across there. It's not on camera, it won't be on camera, but just a squidge of oil right across there to give it a bit of a lube as well on top. So I'll make sure that oil's running onto all these parts that are moving to give it that heads up and that start up before I give it a literal start up once the rocket cover's on. But I looked up XG lash lifters replacement. There was one video, you'll probably find it, it's got NL, I think a Ford or Fairlane or something like that. Wasn't hugely detailed, but he was pretty much pointing out that this is a common cause for getting those noises up the top end. The other thing is, what he didn't mention is how much issues you get with putting new lifters in and then falling out. Okay, got the girl together. I'm going to give her a quick start. Make some noise. And I haven't even connected the battery terminal. Alright, let's see how we go. One sec. Okay. Ready or not? I'm not ready. Here we go. Let's prime the fuel. Oops. Battery connection is not on properly or tight enough. Might need a little bit more tightness. I'll see if that needs to be done up a bit more with a spanner. Here we go. making a little bit of sound, but oil needs time to come up. I'll be back. Okay, you heard it. It sounds almost like there's no oil at all. Maybe my pickup stuffed. I don't know yet. Now it's still about fault finding. It's after 9 PM, so I don't want to just sit the car for too much idle at the moment. Might have to idle for a little bit. I've got to do more research on that after new lifters installed. I was hoping that would be pretty quick, picking up oil with all the cleaning I did. But I don't cut out stuff from the video. You see it as it is. It's not always a miracle that things can happen and go the way you think. But it starts. There's no ding 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 at the moment, so I'll do some more research tonight and be back in the morning seeing what's going on with oil lube on it. Far out. But we'll say goodnight for now. Back soon. So here we are again. I ran the car for a good 10 minutes. Still no change. I don't have that tappet sound anymore, but it sounds like literally none. I don't know, it just sounds like metal on metal for some reason. So I'm going to remove that rocket cover again and see what's going on. So bear with me. I'll just back soon. Okay, so took off the rocket cover. I can't. I mean, things look oily. Something's going on, maybe. I mean, I watched that. Not that it could be, or it could be, but with the grease, has it blocked them for a bit? I don't know. It's the pain in the neck when you're not a mechanic, but they're all in their right spots. Very well aligned. But something's going on. Now, is my pickup stuffed? I mean, I don't know anything about this engine. My pickup, I mean, I cleaned all the bottom, of course. Cleaned the pickup, but something's going on not to punch my oil through where they're supposed to be coming through. And it almost sounds like they're grinding. Should I start it like this? I don't want oil going everywhere. But something's going on. Something which really should be a pretty simple thing. I think I'll just take it off, give it another deep clean, don't put the oil in, try to put this on without dropping lash lifters. Give them a big clean, leave them in the oil for a few days, see if that changes stuff. That's what I'm going to do, take it off again. Pain in the bum. Anyway, okay, we're back out again. Now I've cleaned all these off with paper towel. Fortunately this time none of those little caps fell out. They're all still in there, which is very good. I only had practically one lifter fall out and one went on to underneath the divvy. I am going to, there was another thread saying that to leave them in, just soak in oil for over a day and stuff like that. So I'm going to leave them in for 2-3 days. Just let them soak it all up. But in the meantime, I'm going to try and just clean out the very edges again, just if there's any remnants of that grease that I put in. And go from there. Pain in the neck, real pain in the neck, but this is the sort of things that you can come across when doing it yourself and you don't have, you're not trained in the actual field. But this is what makes us DIY guys part of the YouTube family. Anyway, I'm going to get the ice cream tub. Where is it? So good old this one. Fill that with oil. Well, not fill it, but make it at least higher than what these are. And give them a good soaking in oil. Okay, so this is what I meant. Let's throw some oil in there. Bloop. Bloop. You can see the bubbles coming off them as I put them in. Bloop. And look, you can see the bubbles. So they're definitely taking in some oil. Oh, there's a couple more there, hiding behind the bucket. So, this actually might be the way to go. Look how much air pockets are in those. Anyway, this is another part of the video to see if anything really works or helps. So I'll let those do their thing, and I'm going to get into cleaning where they were sitting. Come down to this, that I'm bringing the trail arm or the valve arm or whatever they call these things inside. My plan is to pull it apart. Now, I haven't seen any videos on pulling this type apart. I'm just going to dawdle, it won't be on video, but I'm going to work out, or try to work out, how these go together, how they're all locked together. But the assembly, I'm going to try and film putting it back together, and then it's just a reversal of that. So either way, whether you see something like this on film getting pulled apart, or reversed and then reversed and then pulled apart, either way you can work it out. So I'm thinking that some of these tubes might be having issues. Just in case they do have issues, I want to clean the whole thing thoroughly. So this is where I'm at. I'm going to start pulling it, see how these come apart, just by dawdling, more or less, and just playing it by ear. But if you've got the XG model, hopefully this will help you out. From what I pretty much self-taught now, I like dabbling with my hands and just working out stuff like this and just taking my time. So yeah, I'm going to pull her apart and go from there.